With us now is Julie Bauke. She's president and chief career strategist at the Bauke Group. Julie, it's great to have you here. And the Wall Street Journal really recently highlighted this trend where they said, hey, companies are finding older workers might take a little more time to train, but they're vastly more productive.
Yes, and more predictable. So during the pandemic, 5.25 million people left the workforce, just left. And 3 million of those were boomers. They left for a variety of reasons, but it was always suspected that some of them would find their way back into the workforce, just not in the role, profession, or maybe even industry they left. And so the pendulum is starting to swing back the other way. And we're seeing not only an interest on the part of employers in this better understood demographic, but also boomers are saying, yeah, do some work, maybe 2 to 3 days a week, but their requirements and what they're looking for are different than when they left.
So one of the things that strikes me about this is that you would think for a lot of boomers returning to the workforce, they would want the kind of flexibility that companies are now pulling back on. So is there, do they offer something different from younger generations? And are they more willing to go to the office, or do they want the same things as younger generations? It's just that employers might say, hey, they're probably going to be a little bit stickier if we do offer them the job.
Yes, stickier is a great word. So when you have people in the baby boomer generation who are looking to come back to work, they're probably not going to come for a year and then leave. They're going to, if they can find a role that meets their life needs, they're likely to stay. Whereas employers are experiencing Gen Z being very willing to, if they don't like what they're seeing or not getting what they want when they want it, they're the first ones to bounce and say, I'm going to try something else. And so boomers, baby boomers are more understandable. They are also looking for flexibility. Now, we have all kinds of evidence in the market that a lot of companies are pulling back on hybrid or remote work. But I think that the pendulum is going to settle somewhere in between, and there will be plenty of hybrid type work or work from home, work from anywhere types of roles available. And I think those are going to be the ones that boomers gravitate toward the most.
Which leads us to a conversation about J.P. Morgan calling its managing directors to the office 5 days a week, and to monitor those who are still allowed to be on a hybrid work plan, to monitor their attendance more closely so that they're not taking advantage of, you're supposed to be in 3 days and maybe out 2, or in 2 and out 3. Do you suspect that many more companies are going to follow the J.P. Morgan example and require more workers to be in the office more of the time?
Yeah, well, it's very interesting to watch the last couple of years, because as the pandemic kind of ebbed and flowed and waned and people were trying to figure it out, there were a lot of attempts to get people back into the office. Kind of, we're going to try it, then we're pulling back. But Jamie Dimon has always been the one who's been out there saying, this is not okay in any or rare circumstances. And so I'm not surprised that he's the first one to come out and put his foot down and say everybody back. Now, he's starting with that very senior level of managers and saying the expectation is 5 days a week. And then, so he's kind of putting his toe in the water there. And I know that other companies are going to watch. How does this affect JP Morgan's culture? Do they lose people? Are they able to attract and retain the people they want? So there's a lot of kind of temperature checking of what people are willing to do. And so we're in this watching sausage getting made behind the scenes era of going back to work. And so, certain jobs, I think, will fall out and land where they are always going to be remote or work from anywhere. Yeah. Tech, sales, things that are done that do not require collaboration will probably stay there for the most part. Yeah. But there are certainly other roles where you really do need to be in the office. And so employers are still trying to figure that out.
My sense would be that if you're a managing director at J.P. Morgan Chase, you're fairly well compensated. And so you probably will go ahead and come back into the office 5 days a week and not leave.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think their attrition rate would be as high.
What are you going to do? Are you going to go to another, similar bank who's going to have the same policy?
You're probably going to be expected to be in 5 days a week as well. Very interesting. We appreciate it. Julie, thank you for being with us, and I'm glad there's hope for baby boomers like me. That's fantastic.
And all of us someday. Come on.
And all of us, right?
All of us, right.